Okay, so I found this foolproof way to husk a coconut because this actually is not the coconut. There is a coconut inside, and it's between, there's kind of a line that goes around. I don't know if you can see it very well or not, but there's a line that goes around, and that's all husk. And then there's a line actually down here at the bottom, and that's kind of where the coconut starts to end. Up here is where it actually attaches to the tree, and then down here it's pretty hard and almost darn near impossible to open without something sharp. But through trial and error and really bad, inefficient utensils, I've tried to use an axe, and it wasn't a very good axe, so all it did was mush the top and made it hard, and I had to peel and peel and peel. I tried a saw, but it was too big, and it was like, you know, really scary because I was afraid I was going to saw myself. I found this, a butter knife. Yep, can you believe it? Watch this. That's easy. I mean, it takes a little bit of muscle, but it's pretty easy. And what I do is I just follow along the grain, and I score all the way down as far as I can. Now, at the bottom it starts to get a little harder, so it's pretty impossible to get all the way down, but you can get most of it. And so then I just go through, and then I do the next one, and I score it all the way around as far as I can, and even through the top. Like, you can totally cut right through the top pretty easily. So, and I have one that I did after I went all the way around that I'll show you here in a second. But you can kind of hear it sort of crunching, and that's just the husk pulling away. I actually stumbled across this idea because I needed something to pry, and I thought, oh, I'm going to use a butter knife because that's long and skinny. And so this first one to open can be kind of a pain, but once you get it started, it's actually not too bad. So I would love to see more houses taking advantage, especially those that have coconuts in their front yards like I do. So you can see that that's how I started it, and this is all husk here. And then what I do is I just take the knife and I follow along with the coconut. Now, it doesn't take a literal no effort. I mean, there's definitely still some muscles involved. And this one's being stubborn, just to be stubborn. But I follow it all along the coconut, and then what ends up happening is I'm able to pull it open away from the nut itself, which is right here. And so then I just kind of keep doing that same technique, pulling it open, and it gets, I know this doesn't look like it, but it does get easier. And see, that came off with pretty much almost minimal effort. Now I have, and I tell the kids these are coconut flowers because by the time I go all the way around, it actually does start looking like a flower. So, and there is part of it. getting easier and easier to pull apart, like that. So, and then eventually you just end up with the actual coconut itself. And I'll show you how to open them. I wrap them in a towel, and actually I need to show you this. I'll just tell you. But I wrap them in a towel, and then I just take one good swing with a hammer. I try not to hit it too hard because I'm actually working on possibly, I know it sounds stupid, possibly trying to turn one of the shells, if I can manage to not break one, which I haven't yet been able to do. But I'd like to try and see if I can turn one of the shells into like some goblets. I know that's probably pretty lofty, but anyways, it was an idea. Or like some little bowls or something would be fun just for the heck of it, to say that I did, but more than likely it probably won't happen. We'll see. You'll have to find out in another post. So, but that's basically, and you can see sometimes it comes off really easily, but here you, hopefully I have the angle right, and you can see that I'm just kind of following the groove of the coconut itself. It takes so much work to get into a coconut, let me tell you, but they are so good for you. They're good for your hair, they're good for your body. They're high fresh coconuts anyways are really high in fiber. The water that is inside the coconut has like just super amounts of electrolytes and just good fuel for your body. So it's nature's sports drink, and it also aids in, I think it aids in digestion, if I remember correctly. There's a whole list of reasons why having a coconut and eating coconuts, especially fresh ones if you can get your hands on them, is so big. So, but anyways, as somebody who is trying very hard to, oh, there we go, got it, to, oops, there it is. So as somebody who's trying very hard to be more green, I thought, gosh, we really got to start using our coconuts. So then you can see there's 3 knobs here, and typically I can only get into one of them. They say that you can get into 3. Actually, there's usually one that's a perfect circle, and I take a wine opener and I stick it in there, I screw it in there, and I pull it back out, and then I dump it upside down into a cup. I let it drain, and then I strain it because then there's usually gunk inside it, and then I hit it with a hammer, crack it open after I've wrapped it in a towel. And then in order to get to the meat, you have to score the meat, again with my friend the butter knife. Score all the meat before you pull it out, and it'll make it easier again. And then you use the butter knife to help you pry it out. You can use like a sharper knife, but I prefer this because I don't like the idea of stabbing myself, and I'm pretty klutzy. So that's how I open a coconut, with a butter knife.